Welcome to a special fantasy football edition of Scooby in the Field. Only the field is here for this one, but I know my fantasy football. So first off, I'm going to start off with fantasy quarterbacks. The quarterback position is always tricky because you get these guys and there's someone who sneaks out like Vic last year. Now, there's 6 quarterbacks that I would tell every single person, if you can pick them up within the first 3 rounds, pick them up because they are consistently good. You don't need to draft another quarterback. You can stock up on running backs and wide receivers, get a sneak in there, get something good. But if you draft one of these 6 quarterbacks, you don't need to draft another quarterback as a backup because you will have them for all 16 weeks. Aaron Rodgers, Michael Vick, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers. Those are the 6 quarterbacks. You draft one of those 6, you don't need to draft another one. The only one I'm telling you to be cautious about is Michael Vick. Michael Vick is bound to get hurt. He runs a lot, and there's no way he's going to do the same performance he had last year. He put up a 50-point week. There's no way he's going to do that well. So, be cautious about Michael Vick, but if you draft one of those first 6 quarterbacks, you don't need to get a backup. Now, speaking of a quarterback that I really like, Matt Ryan, he's rated number 11 in ESPN's quarterback ratings. I really like him. He'll be a good pickup. Then there's Matt Schaub. He's rated number 8. He's on that really good Houston offense. He doesn't put up a lot of touchdowns, but he puts up a lot of yards, depending on what your individual league scoring system is. He might be really good for that. Guys, I'm telling you to be cautious about. Tony Romo. Coming off of an injury, shortened preparations with his team. Be careful. Ben Roethlisberger. Be careful about him. Josh Freeman, Eli Manning, Joe Flacco, Sam Bradford. All be cautious about those guys. Now, fantasy running backs. Running back is the position. Now, everyone's trying to be smart this year. Arian Foster had a great year last year. Chris Johnson had 2,000 2 years back. Adrian Peterson is rated number 1 for a reason. He always does well. Don't be the smart kid. Don't go, oh, I'm going to be smart and I'm going to go pick up Arian Foster because he did so well last year. Go with consistency. If you have the first overall pick, go with consistency. Pick up Adrian Peterson. Another guy I like is Jamal Charles. He's rated 4th. Jamal Charles is going to get more carries this year according to Todd Haley, the Chiefs coach. Pick him up. Got to be cautious about it. I actually have him on my don't draft list. MJD. I love MJD. He's a Bruin. I love UCLA. The only thing is he's coming off knee surgery. He had an offseason last season. He doesn't put up a lot of touchdowns. He puts up about the same amount of yards. Always be cautious about him. Guy I really like, Ray Rice. 6th. You'll probably have to pick him up with maybe your 5th or 6th pick. He's a good guy. Baltimore, they like to pound it because they're a grinded out team. Another grinded out team. Pittsburgh with Rashard Mendenhall. Rashard Mendenhall is going to get in there. He's going to get the touchdowns. There's not going to be a goal line back. He is a good guy to pick up. He's rated 8th according to ESPN. A guy that you need to be cautious about and maybe even not draft altogether, Frank Gore of San Francisco. He's a good running back, but he's holding out right now. He's a guy to stay away from. Michael Turner, rated 10th. He's a good, solid back. He's always up in that top 10. Get him in the 2nd round. He's a good second running back to get if you don't pick up a quarterback or a wide receiver in that first 2 rounds. Now, another guy that I like, and he is rather low, he's rated 31st, is Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch is going to be staying with the Seahawks. The Seahawks are going to go for more of a running game with Tavares Jackson. They're going to pound it out with Marshawn Lynch. Get Marshawn Lynch. Ryan Grant, he's rated 29th out of running backs. Ryan Grant was the guy. He's going to be the guy again in Green Bay. This guy's another steal. Now, one guy, this is my rookie pick, Roy Helu. He's on the Redskins. I looked at his combine stats. His combine stats resemble Chris Johnson and Ray Rice. Ray Rice and Chris Johnson are 3rd and 6th, I believe, on the ESPN ratings. This guy, I think he's going to be good. Washington just does not have a for sure running back. They have Ryan Terrain, but he is not a for sure running back. I think he's going to be good. I know the Washington line isn't that good, but every single drill that involved cutbacks, he set combine records. Now for wide receivers. Everyone's trying to pick up Andre Johnson in the first round. I never advise picking up a wide receiver in the first round. Wide receivers are good, but you can always wait. For example, Greg Jennings, you could probably pick him up in the second round, possibly in the third round, depending on how horrible the people are drafting in your league. You get him in in the second or third round. He has Aaron Rodgers throwing to him. He's going to be good. Next, Calvin Johnson. This guy, he had like 4 or 5 quarterbacks throwing to him last year, and he still put up 12 touchdowns. He's going to be a touchdown machine this year if Stafford stays healthy. Pick him up. He might be the steal. Reggie Wayne is always a good guy to pick up. He's rated 9th out of wide receivers. He's always a good guy to pick up because he's Peyton Manning's first target. Vincent Jackson, always as well. He's rated 8th. Jeremy Maclin, good big play guy out of Philadelphia. Pick him up too. Guys I would stay away from are guys with new quarterbacks and new systems, such as Larry Fitzgerald. I would stay away from Fitzgerald because Fitzgerald has a new quarterback, and the quarterback needs to get used to that system. I would stay away from him, maybe draft him if he falls far enough. I would stay away from Percy Harvin. He has Donovan McNabb. He's not used to McNabb. Stay away from Sidney Rice. He's in a new system, and he got Tavares Jackson, but that's okay. Braylon Edwards, wherever he lands, do not draft him. He's probably going to be behind the curve in everything. AJ Green, do not pick him up. Even though he's a good, solid rookie, not pick him up. He's not a good fantasy guy. Now, a couple of steals I like at the 39 or below. Chad Ochocinco, rated 39th. Moss went over to the Patriots in 2007 after being a troubled receiver in Oakland. He puts up 23 touchdowns. I'm not saying Ochocinco is going to put up 23 touchdowns, but he's going to do well. Another guy, 49th, Hines Ward. He's not going to be flashy, but he will give you consistent numbers. You have a week with 2 guys on a bye, he will give you good numbers. Now for tight ends, Antonio Gates, Dallas Clark, Jason Witten, Jermichael Finley, Vernon Davis, or Owen Daniels are all guys that you pick up and do not draft another tight end. Stockpile those wide receivers and running backs. You never know who's going to be a steal. Zach Miller, be cautious or possibly even just stay away from him altogether. He's a free agent. You don't know where he's going to land. Greg Olsen in Carolina, I would stay away from him. He's never really been that good. I'm always in favor of picking up a New Orleans tight end, Jimmy Graham. He's good there. And if you don't pick up one of those first 6, you have Mercedes Lewis and Kellen Winslow. They have weak schedules. First week, they're playing each other's teams. You can probably get a good pickup there. Now, I'm not even going to talk about kickers. Kicker, pick up in your last round. Who cares about a kicker? I had 16 weeks in my fantasy season last year. I probably used 10 to 12 different kickers. Kickers do not matter. Now for defenses. There are 6 defenses that I would say pick up and keep for the entire season. That's the Steelers, the Packers, the Jets, the Ravens, the Bears, and the Eagles. You pick up one of those defenses, you stay with that defense the entire year. But don't be the smart guy and pick up the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 6th round because they're going to give you one really good week from a defense. That's not smart. Do not draft a defense before the 10th round, no matter how many people are in your league. Unless there's only 10 positions in your league, then you draft them in the 9th round. You absolutely do not draft a defense before the 10th round. They are not that valuable. Every defense will put up about 10 points a week if you know what you're doing. So, you have my take on all the fantasy football. Stay away from kickers. Don't draft them until the last round. There's a couple of quarterbacks, tight ends, and defenses that you can, pick, and you'll be fine. So that's the field with all your fantasy football needs.